What's up, everyone? Welcome to Unmasked, where things are discovered, uncovered, brought to the light, and made known. I'm your host, Lamar Barrett, coming live to you from PG County, Maryland. If you're interested in finding out about the untold stories behind being a college coach, this is the show for you. Being a former assistant men's college basketball for 16 years, there are so many untold stories behind the scenes in the life of a college basketball coach. Now, let's unmask them. Today's guest is a terrific and bright assistant coach, a former co-worker for 3 years, a great friend, and someone I consider a brother, and a Freeman, Virginia native, Bryant Stith. And I'm going to talk about Bryant's bio a little bit. I mean, he has a terrific history, and that starts as a player, heading into him being an assistant coach, where he's done a terrific job, and I have no doubt that he'll be a head coach somewhere sometime soon. Brian played at Brunswick High School, where he won 2 state championships, and I usually don't talk about players' high school accomplishments, but Brian's got to be included in this only because it's going to tie in with something else later. He went on to UVA, where he had a great career. He's the all-time leading scorer there. When he left there in 1992, so you're talking about 28 years ago, no one has broken that record yet. All-time leading scorer, all ACC first team 3 years, rookie of the year in the ACC, 13th pick in the NBA draft by the Denver Nuggets, where he had an outstanding 10-year career, 8 with the Nuggets, 1 year with Boston, and 1 year with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then Brian actually finished playing, decided to go back home, and after a couple of years, he went back home and started coaching at his alma mater, where he actually went to 7 straight championship games. You heard me, 7 straight championship games, where he won 3 state championships in a row his last 3 years, 2011, 2012, and 2013, where he had a chance to coach his sons in high school as well. And then Bryant is the only player in the state of Virginia, player and coach that won back-to-back state championships. From there, Bryant began his college coaching career at Old Dominion University with me in 2013. With his former head coach Jeff Jones at like I said, at Old Dominion University, and he's been there for the last 7 years, where he's done a terrific job. Went to the NCAA tournament, so he had a chance to build that program or rebuild that program, beginning in 2013, and also had a chance to coach his 2 sons, Brandon and BJ, at Old Dominion University, where his wife is an alum, and now his 2 sons are alumnus of the school. Both have master's degrees from Old Dominion University. Like I said, Brian also has 2 daughters that's ran track at East Carolina, so an athletic family. I just want to say welcome to the show to a great friend and my brother, Bryant Stith.
Hey, what's up, Lamar? How you doing, man? Good to be on with you.
Man, I'm glad you could come, man. You know, I know a lot of times you're busy this time of the year, and I know it's the pandemic, but I know your schedule. Like you know, you do a lot of things to make sure that you can reach out to a lot of people, and so I'm just fortunate to have you on my show. You know what, Brian? Let's jump right into it, man. Let's get unmasked. You know, everybody wants to hear stories, especially about college coaches. You've been in it for 7 years now. There's no secret. There's no handbook to being a college coach. And a lot of times people don't understand that. Like, I think us and car salesmen are the only 2 that's, there's no training in your job. So tell me about your first day, first week, first month, just after you're done with human resources or orientation, like, especially when no one gives you direction.
Man, I'm telling you, I had a eye-opening experience when I walked on Old Dominion's campus, because coming from high school into college, it's a lot different, because in high school there was so much more interaction with the players, with the students. You are out in the hallway doing lunch duty. You are there in the morning to see kids get off the bus. You are out on bus duty in the afternoon to make sure the kids get on the bus safely and off to to their homes. And so when I came into Old Dominion, I was looking for more interaction with the players. But the players, instead of me having to police 13 or 14 players, when I was at Brunswick, I was responsible, because I was also the athletic director, I was responsible for the safety and well-being of 600 students at the high school. So when I came to Old Dominion, I'm walking around the gym. I'm like, well, where are the players? What am I supposed to do? And, one of the guys didn't have class. So, he comes in the gym and I'm in there feeding him the ball. And, I realized that, there's a certain rule that says, only supposed to have 2 hours of, instructions with the coach during the week. So I had to learn all of that stuff. And, the funny story, how Coach Jones helped break me in and get my mind, from being a high school to a college coach, was he was like, listen, I got a project I want you to do. I want you to call every coach in the state of Virginia, introduce yourself, let you know that you are on the staff at Old Dominion, and that'll help you build your contact base. And that right there helped me flip the switch between being a high school coach and being a college coach. And, the rest is history after then.
That's terrific. I mean, that's one way to get, a relationship started. Even though, like, you coach high school, they knew of you, but now it's like, how do I, go from that to now they got to understand, oh, I'm a college coach and I'll be out recruiting your kids. What was your best, what was your best and worst recruiting story?
Well, I think my best recruiting story was actually recruiting my 2 sons because, everything that I told them about going into selecting the school that they wanted to go to, I said, look, man, I'm not a big fan of transferring. You do your homework early and you make sure that that's the school that you want to go to. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. You got to make sure that you trust the people that you're going to play for. You're going to be loyal to your teammates, and then they are going to embrace you. The buy-in, it may be difficult, but it's going to pay off at the end. So when I became the head coach at Old Dominion, and my sons were at Brandon was at East Carolina and BJ was at UVA, and they had some challenges their first year and they had to work through. But they came to me and they were like, "Well, Dad, you're at Old Dominion. Is there a possibility that we can come and play for you?" And I was like, "Well, Brandon, all of the things that we talked about, loyalty, staying at East Carolina, BJ, you being at UVA." And so a lot of the things that we had talked about when they were selecting their schools, then, when we started to talk about the process, my wife stepped in and was like, whoa, wait a minute. That's not what you told them. You told them it wasn't going to be easy. And she helped me, she held me to my word. She said that they may struggle, but they had to find their way. Now, you are the one that's telling them that it's okay to come here to Old Dominion and transfer. So my best recruiting story was being able to recruit my wife so that she could help me recruit my sons and get them here to Old Dominion. So I think that was my best recruiting story, man. And, I did a lot of going to the grocery store, cutting the grass and home improvement projects. And, so, I thought that was very interesting. But in the end, man, our steps are ordered. We are a family of strong faith. Both Brandon and BJ came here and had, awesome basketball careers. So I'm thankful for that. My worst recruiting story, I really haven't had any really bad ones, but there are some kids that I really missed out on where I put in a lot of work. I kind of created a bond with the family, and not to see it through and get them here in the Old Dominion uniform, that kind of hurt my heart. But because you build relationships through the recruiting process, And, you know, you really think that, you know, if that kid comes here, that they could be a star and be able to live out their dreams. So I haven't really had a nightmare of a recruiting story, but I've had recruiting, players where, you know, it just didn't work out and they didn't come here, and that really hurt.
Shout out for Barbara for holding your foot down, man. That's terrific.
Hey, look, man, that's my high school sweetheart, man. We've been dating ever since 9th grade. So she can complete my sentences before I even finish it. So, you know, I know what she was thinking from the very beginning, but what she was just trying to do, she just wanted to make sure that they were coming here for the right reasons, and it was about them and it wasn't about me. And when they got here, you know, Coach Jones and the rest of the coaching staff were here, helped embrace them, and you were a part of that. And, you know, the rest is history.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Brian, you know, like you're a family guy. You always been that way. You had experience in the NBA, and then you back at home. So now you with them again, even though you're coaching. And though so you saw, you know, BJ. You was there with BJ, Brandon, you know, Brooke and Bria growing up. But then you go into college coaching, and now, what did you have to give up achieving your current level of success?
Well, I mean, initially when I retired from the NBA, you know, I had 3 job offers to go work in the NBA. One was under Bernie Bickerstaff at the time when he was with the Charlotte Hornets. One was to go back to Denver and get into TV, and the other was to go back to Denver and get into the front office. Well, we had a tough decision that we had to make, Barbara and I, because at the time, the landscape around professional athletes, professional NFL, NBA coaches was that while you were out there chasing that almighty dollar, a lot of families were losing their kids. You know, I can remember vividly, you know, some high-profile NFL coaches, you know, their kids had drug problems, and it was made very public. And, you know, Dr. J's son, was found at the bottom of a lake. And I was like, man, you know, I don't want that for my kids. You know, I can make a career right back home in Brunswick County and allow our kids to grow up with 2 parents being around, because raising kids, man, that's a full-time job. And I didn't want to put that burden all on Barbara while I was out on the road, you know, coaching in the NBA or being an executive in the NBA front office, because I was going to be an absentee father. So we made the decision to put our kids first. We moved back home to Brunswick to give them the upbringing that we had growing up in the country, surrounded by family. They would get a chance to grow with their grandmothers and grandfathers, aunts, uncles, and cousins. So that move was made based on them. And it worked out terrifically because the high school job at Brunswick High School, my alma mater, fell into my lap. You know, that wasn't planned. I was able to help create a strong foundation for my kids that has made them successful in high school and college, and hopefully in years to come. And now we have gotten 3 of our 4 kids, helped them graduate from college, and my baby girl is going to be a senior this year at East Carolina. So now, if there's an opportunity out there for me coaching, whether it's in Virginia, whether it's in Colorado, in California, or Florida, Barbara and I have no strings attached because we have done our jobs as parents. Now I can go out there and pursue what my passion is, and that's coaching in college basketball.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I remember that first year, like, you know, you had to go to Norfolk. The girls were down in Virginia, you know, and BJ was away at school. So I remember what that first year was like. You know, you been actually by yourself, but hey, you still made it home, or somehow they made it at Norfolk. So I remember those times, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the burden fell on my wife because, like you said, You know, the girls were doing so well at Brunswick High School. I said, Barbara, you just let them stay here at Brunswick. We are only an hour and a half apart. I can get me an apartment in Norfolk. BJ was at Oak Hill. Brandon was at East Carolina. And, you know, when I moved down in April, I didn't see my wife and my daughters for 7 months because they were all so engrossed in their schedules. It was AAU basketball, AAU track. It was then when the school started, you know, they got into their school activities, and then I was on the road recruiting. So I never got a chance to see my family. And man, there were so many nights, man, when I laid down in Norfolk in my bed by myself, man, and a tear rolled down my face. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I got to bring my family with me. And so I ended up moving my wife and my daughters down here to Norfolk. They found a great home at Maury High School, and they've thrived ever since.
Yep, that's awesome, man. We know this, Brian, and I know how good you are on them. You like, everybody knows that when you get into scouting reports, like it's you can do your best scouting report and have a bad game. You can do your worst scouting report, you think it is, and you end up winning because everybody puts so much time and they're invested into the scouting reports. They watch a lot of film, you know, and so and people don't see that behind the scenes. They just think guys show up, I guess, and. But what was your best, and it could be your greatest or and worst scouting report that you've had? And it might not have been a worst, but something you like, I was missing this and I'm upset. But what was your best and worst scouting report?
Well, I think that my best scouting report, we were at UTEP about 3 years ago. And we were in a dogfight. I mean, it was a close game. And as the years went along, you know, I kind of developed my own method of how I break down scout and games and stuff. And, you know, I had probably watched 8 games on UTEP. And when it came down to crunch time, you know, they always ran this one particular play. So we came down, we hit a big basket. I think BJ hit a shot in the corner to put us up 2 points. It was UTEP ball. They dribbled the ball down and called a timeout. Coach Jones looks at me and he was like, Brian, what are they gonna do right now? And I was like, oh my God. But automatically my mind goes right back to the film. And I remember they ran this play over and over again. I said, Coach, if the game is on the line, you know, based on everything that I've studied on film, this is the play I think they were going to run. I took the board, I drew the play up, I drew it up, and I said, this guy's going to come over the top. That's false action. Watch this double back screen for a flare on the weak side, and they're going to try to throw the ball over the top for a 3. And sure enough, man, they came out. And that's the play that they ran. And man, the players, they were all jumping on me. I see you, Coach Stith. Thanks, man. You helped us get this game. The coaches was patting me on the back. So it really, really made me feel good because I had put so much in the preparation of that scouting report. I was able to come through for my team when they needed me the most. My worst scouting report, I would definitely say it was my first year. And, you know, you think you were doing the right thing. And back then, man, I would only watch 3 or 4 games. And I really hadn't figured out how to deliver a scouting report to the team where I could maximize, you know, the amount of work that I can, the actions that I can put in to get the team ready. So the team was prepared, but there were a lot of actions that I saw on the film that they ran during the game that I didn't prepare the team for. So what that taught me, it was that, okay, you can't go on the frequency of how much a team run actions in 2 or 3 games. You got to prepare the team for any and every action that they may run so that they have some familiarity with it when they get on the court and they are not surprised. So I learned that my first season, And I made a vow to myself that that never would happen again. I'm always going to give my players a chance to be prepared for what they're going to face. Even though we may not go through it, we're going to talk about it in film. I'm going to point it out in the scouting meeting the night before the game so that they are aware of what they are going to face when they step out on the court.
That's good stuff, man. And I saw it firsthand how you just, like, you were always, you know, locked into those. We're sharing the office, and, like, you're like, man, I got to get this. And, like, I mean, so I seen all the hard work. Trust me. I seen it. Biggest challenge you have experienced since you've been a college coach?
The biggest challenge that, you know, that I've experienced, man, you know, for me personally is just, you know, how do I become better? Because everything that I ever did in life, man, you know, I'm almost a borderline perfectionist. You know, I want to be considered one of the best scouts, one of the best recruiters. But how do I take myself and be a better coach? So what I try to do is, while Coach Jones is coaching, in my mind, I am trying to anticipate what he's going to say, how he's going to approach the team after a tough loss. How is he going to get the best out of this particular player when we know that he has the potential to help take us to another level? So my biggest challenge as a college basketball coach is trying to envision myself in the position of the head coach so I can help him be as prepared as he can be so he can go out there and have a successful program. So I'm trying to get in the mind of my head coach. I'm trying to get in the mind of my assistant coaches when they're doing a scout. I'm trying to say, okay, you know, what is he going to say next? How is he going to prepare our team for this action that we're getting ready to defend? How are we going to score the basketball? How are we going to get the ball to our best players? So that's been my biggest challenge, man. I lay in the bed late at night, you know, after, you know, everybody goes to sleep, and I'm just staring at the ceiling, man, trying to put myself in Coach Jones' position so that he can be as successful as possible.
Awesome. That's why you're gonna be a head coach one day. I don't doubt that one. Do you ever find that there are things about you that people might misunderstand? Like, you know, what are they, if there is anything?
Well, I think that when people first see me, man, you know, I'm very direct. I'm a very serious-minded person, but I don't think that people understand that, you know, once you peel the layers back, man, I'm just like any other person, man. I love to have fun. I love to joke around. I love to have a great time. But when it's time to get to work, man, I'm all about business. And, you know, I want to be as productive as I possibly can, and I want to win. You know, so, you know, when I first got here to Old Dominion, you know how everybody is, man. He's an NBA player. You know, he think he's, you know, maybe better than us. But, you know, once the guys get to know me, I'm just like one of the regular guys. And, you know, I enjoy, you know, developing the relationships. And, you know, I do that on the court. You know, I still can shoot the basketball. So I like to get out there, man, and you know, play shooting games with the guys. But as we are playing, I'm also teaching them. You know, you gotta maintain your form. You know, I've missed more shots than you've taken in my lifetime. Ain't no way that you're gonna be able to beat me. I'm talking trash to them, but at the same time, I'm dropping nuggets of wisdom to them to understand what they have to do to be able to get to that level. So that's the part that I love the most.
Awesome. Brian, we're all educators. You know, you come from your mom was an educator. So you're always teaching. Like, coaching, that's what it is, it's teaching. And what would you try to teach your players besides basketball? And the reason why I ask that, because a lot of times, you know, you got a lot of kids who come from a lot of different situations. You've seen a lot, you know, whether it was a player or coaching, but like, what would you try to teach your players besides basketball?
Well, the first thing, man, that I had to understand about being a coach. And this happened my first year as a high school coach at Brunswick. I had to strip myself of all of the finer things and all of the things that I enjoyed in my ascension to the NBA. I forgot what it was like to grow up in Brunswick County. And I'm gonna give you a perfect example. On my first game as a coach at Brunswick High School, after school was over, I packed up my stuff from the office. I went home. I got me something to eat, and took a nap and hustled back over to the gym. And when I got to the gym, there were about 5 players in the bleachers laid out asleep. And I was like, yo, man, did you guys go home, man? Y'all get something to eat? And they were like, Coach, if we go home, we might not make it back to the game. And I was like, whoa. So that taught me right then that it was more about basketball. It's more than basketball, man. This is about life. This is about growing up. This is about being a man. This is about responsibility. And what my wife and I decided to do in high school, on game days, we invited the entire team over to our house. We fed them. We allowed them to go into the basement, and we had a bunch of mats that we had bought, and we allowed the guys to go into our theater room, so they kind of lounged around, ate. Some guys took nap, other guys watched TV, some guys played pool. And what I found out, man, that cohesion off the court built a chemistry on the court that we created a movement in the state of Virginia that hasn't been seen, quite often. So when I came to college, that I had that in the back of my mind. So it's how can I reach these players to show them that I'm not just a basketball coach. I'm trying to help you be a man. And how do I help you become a man? It's by teaching you responsibility. It's not all about basketball. It's about showing up to class on time. It's about handling your obligations off the court. It's about making sure you get involved in other activities around campus. It's about, if you are on the basketball court and if it's your job to do something, you have to step up for the team. And once you start interacting and all of the pieces come together, now you're not 5 fingers, you're a fist, and that's when you can strike your mightiest blow.
Awesome, man. Great nugget there. Great nugget. What are your best and worst memories in coaching?
Oh man, definitely. I definitely have 2. Winning my first state championship in high school. You mentioned in my intro that I went to 7 straight state championships and that we won our last 3, which means I lost 4 consecutive state championships, as a high school coach, and that was tough. We lost to some great players, man. I mean, you look at Troy Daniels, who's in the NBA, and Hagens, who went to Delaware and had a long career, and Eric Green, who played for the Jazz, and I mean, it was just some terrific teams that we lost to. But winning and losing is losing. So when we won our first state championship, and my 2 sons were a part of that team, man, that was special, man. I wanted to win for every player that I had on my team, that I ever coached that first 4 years, because they worked hard and they deserved to be state champions. But again, man, our steps are ordered. And for my first state championship, to have Brandon as a sophomore and BJ as a freshman, both of them starting for our team, that was special. And then being able to win the Conference USA regular season and conference championship 2 years ago, that was special because you were a part of the staff here when we first took over a team that was 5-25. And, we brought in some key pieces and, we eventually started to make that ascension to where we were contending for championships, but we could never get over the hump. And then finally in 2019, we were able to get that done and go to the NCAA championship. So that was special, man. That was great.
Yeah, it was. It was special. I remember just watching that. I remember texting you right after the game. I was happy for those guys. Like you said, when especially guys, you were involved with that and I saw, from BJ, Mark, like when they first came in and, just to see those guys, man, like was awesome to accomplish something that they had set their mind on when they first came in. That was awesome.
That was awesome. And that team too, man, that team had a lot of adversity that it had to go through in order to get there. Because we thought at the end of the 2018 season, we thought that we had a chance to be really good because, man, we were going to have Trey Porter coming back. We were going to have Zoran Talley coming back, BJ, Ahmad. We was like, man, we in position. And then, Zoran leaves to go to Iowa State, and then Trey Porter leaves to go to Nevada. And we like, oh, Lord, man. I mean, we left here, holding the bag. But the leadership that BJ and Ahmad showed that year, I mean, it was just unbelievable. And they lifted their teammates to a position where they could play alongside those two veterans. And both of them, man, led us to a championship. That was amazing to see.
Yep, amazing. Now this is just for basketball since you've been coaching last how many years from high school and college, but like what's the most stressful situation that you have faced in coaching?
Well, we talked about this earlier. The most stressful situation that I faced is making the decision to move to Norfolk my first year alone. We did it with the intention of creating stability for Bria and Brooke. And Barbara was going to stay home because they were just flourishing in the classroom and on the track. They had great coaches. They had great teachers. But the distance, man, it was just too much for us to handle. I went 7 months with only seeing my daughters maybe on a Sunday evening because they were doing AAU track or AAU basketball. Once school started, they were training for basketball in the off season. So I was recruiting. So the time that we thought that we had to spend together, that just didn't manifest. And man, it was just so hard for me as a father not to be able to lay beside my wife at night, not to be able to kiss my daughters before they went to bed, that, I didn't know if I was going to make it. So I told them either I was going to quit coaching college basketball and come back to Brunswick, or they were going to move to Norfolk and be with me. So they decided to move to Norfolk. And again, the rest is history, man. I've enjoyed my time here for the last 7 years.
Thanks to the family and thanks to you, because college basketball is better with you being in it. That's definitely a plus. I'm sure Old Dominion is happy.
Well, I mean, Smooth, you remember now, and you one of the hardest working brothers in the business, man. We used to get in there, man, early in the morning, and we didn't leave till late at night. And, a lot of that was, because I was by myself. And, you showed me the way, man. And, I appreciate that. You gave me that foundation, man. You pointed me in the right direction. I remember you giving me pointers of how I needed to approach certain recruits. So I thank you for that, man. You and John, man, you guys were great, partners, man. And I was able to learn from guys, seasoned veterans, man. So thank you.
No, I appreciate that, man. Always, I appreciate that. This is it could be funny a little bit, and you might laugh, but what's the strangest thing a player has done outside of the basketball court?
Now, we're not even going to talk about NBA. We're just going to talk about college.
Right, that's a different level.
No, man, but I think the strangest thing that has happened that I can tell on video, man, is just they have this thing called streaking across Foreman Field, and a bunch of our guys, man, jump to fists at the football stadium and run butt ball naked across the football field. I'm like, man, what will possess you guys to do something like that? With all of this technology around cell phones, cameras, why would you put yourself in that position? But that's kids being kids, man. They thought it was the funniest thing in the world. But again, this is where you have to step in as a mentor and let them understand that, okay, you got away with it, but there are consequences if you were to get caught. But I thought that was strange to run naked across a football field, 120 yards. That just don't make sense to me.
That's definitely strange. Definitely. If you had a chance, because like I said, I keep saying it, man. I think you're a head coach. You've always had that mentality. I said it. I just remember you coming in, your first year, and you saw it, and I just said, and I remember telling John this. I was like, John, he gonna be a head coach, like way before any of us. He was like, wait, why you say that? I was like, he just has it. Like, when a person has it. So if you had a chance, and you've worked for Coach Jones for 7 years, you played for him in college, but and you've had a relationship with him for a long time, so we're excluding him and Wood Silic. I'm not getting you in trouble, but if you had a chance to work for anyone in men's college basketball, who would that be? And I'm thinking from an AD standpoint, because I think you can be a head coach, or if UVA comes in or someone comes in even at a higher level. Is there anyone that you think you would work for?
Man, Smooth, you know me, man. And, I'm not a person, man, who promotes myself. I'm never going to do that. I'm going to let my work speak for me. What I will tell you is that, you know how strong my faith is, man. And again, I've always said that my steps are ordered. I don't understand in the moment why things happen to me. I couldn't understand when I was a high school coach why I would be so blessed, man, to go to 4 straight state championships and lose. But God revealed to me, man, that as this thing progressed, he was just waiting on for me to win my first state championship with my sons. And then not only did I win my first one, I won 2 additional ones behind that. So, man, I'm never, man, going to rush, what is waiting for me. I'm just going to be patient. I'm going to stay here at Old Dominion. If an opportunity comes up for me to take, a good job at a Power 5 school, man, I'm open to that. If I stay here until Coach Jones, retires, I'm happy. I'm good with that because my wife and I, we've saved our money and we aren't searching or begging for a job. So we are in control and we can do what will make us happy. And right now, man, me being only an hour away from home, my father just passed. We buried him 2 weeks ago. I can get home and check on mom, make sure she's doing good. We can check on our house in Lawrenceville to make sure, that's intact. So, our kids are almost all graduated from college. So we have so much flexibility to be able to chase our dreams. We are just waiting on the right opportunity to come for us. So, I'm not picky. I'm not choosy. I'm not waiting for a particular job. We just want to make sure that we are happy and we do, what is being, presented to us, man. We are blessed.
And for most people who don't know that, that's authentic Bryant. That's not I'm going to be political and all that. That's actually how he thinks. And that's why, people love him because he's being real. And like I said, when you're genuine, people feel that sometimes. So, biggest accomplishment, I know you won your this is in college. You got to the NCAA tournament, and it may still be the same thing, but it could be some others. What's the biggest accomplishment you've experienced since you've become a college coach?
Well, I mean, obviously, man, I have several, but, definitely winning the CUSA championship, man, that was just special, man. I mean, because, some coaches, what I've learned, can be in the business for 30 years, man, and never win a championship. So, I value that, man, is one of the most precious accomplishments that I've achieved. But, off the court is being able to see all of the guys that I've recruited graduate. And that's because when you make a commitment to a family and to a kid that you're gonna help see them through, they are your responsibility, man, from the moment that they walk on this campus. And I'm blessed to see that, man. I've been blessed to help mentor guys that have received master's degrees, engineering degrees, business analytic degrees. And, it varies, man. We recruited great kids, high character kids who have a vision beyond the 4 years that they're here at Old Dominion. So I'm thankful for that.
Great stuff, man. This might stomp you a little bit, because I know how you like the movie or the TV shows with Barbara. I know that, and sometimes with your family, but like, what movie or TV show title best describes your week?
Best describe my week?
Yeah.
Well, since the pandemic, all right, and all of my kids are home. Brandon and BJ are home from overseas playing professionally. The girls are here, from school. I would say Prison Break. Sometimes I just got to figure out how in the hell I need to get out of here, man. Hey, man, you know how it is, man. You got 25, 24, a 23 and a 21-year-old in the house, man. Everybody got different opinions and ideas, man, but it's been terrific, man. I tell you, man, I love my family to death, and this pandemic, has been brutal to a lot of people across the country, man. But for me and my family, it's been a blessing, because we never thought that at this stage in our life, we will all be together for so long, spending so much time together.
Yeah, that's so true. Brian, like you've been around, you played for a lot of guys. You've you coaching. You sometimes you get your own identity. Like, what's your favorite word or phrase?
My favorite phrase is not pressure. It's an opportunity. Man, that's something that I live by, man, ever since I was growing up. A lot of people, man, they look at, being in the moment as being pressure. I remember, man, when I was in high school as a basketball player, our school had never won a state championship. I go to the line with 2 seconds left. The score is 50-49. I get fouled. I'm like, yeah, baby, we're gonna win our first state championship. I'm gonna knock down 2 free throws. My first free throw was an air ball. Man, you can just feel the air let out of the building. And, to come back to hit the second one, go into overtime and win your first state championship, that taught me a lot about myself. And that's when that phrase stuck with me. It's not pressure, it's an opportunity. And I took that with me to the University of Virginia. I took that with me to the NBA, and I took that with me into coaching. And again, the moment never gets too big. It's never too small. It's not pressure. It's just an opportunity for you to go out there and do your thing.
Yeah, and I do remember you knocking us off my freshman year, I think it was.
Yeah, I won't mention that. I wasn't going to mention that, Smooth. I wasn't going to mention, man, what I did to Ron Reese, man. But I mean, But I tell you, man, we had some great battles, man. That was fun, because that's when, man, Southside District, Region 1 basketball, man, was at its best, man. I mean, we were playing against guys Brown out of Richmond and the guys from the 7-5. You talk Forrest, Glenn, John F. Kennedy, man. I mean, you talk about some players, brother. Martinsville, Robert E. Lee, Kevin Madden. I mean, shoot, man, the list goes on, man. So
you thinking about, you forgot Tab with Terry Kirby and them.
Oh, Kirby and Slade. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm telling you, man. That's when basketball in Virginia, man. That AA, man, it was at its best.
I totally agree with you. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
As a coach, the best advice I've been given was not to be too hard on my players. Give them room to breathe. As bad as you want every player you coach to be great, some of them don't have the ability to achieve what I did in life. So when I learned and finally understood that as long as you give me your best, then that is good enough for me. I'm not going to accept anything less than your best, but give me your best. And if your best is as good as it can be or should be, then I'm good with that. Then look, we can win a lot of ball games. We're going to have a lot of fun because we are all there to have one mission in mind, and that's to go there and be as good as we can be as a team.
Great stuff. You said something about early with the family being there, and I know when they're not there, but like, where is your happy place? Where is that?
My happy place is definitely, man, with my wife, man. I mean, we've been dating ever since 9th grade, and I don't care what goes on. When I was in the NBA, I don't care what was going on. When I was coaching at Brunswick, I don't care what's going on at Old Dominion. When I walk through the door, I know my wife is going to have a smile on her face and she's going to greet me like I was a king. Now, do I deserve that? I don't know about that, but that's how she makes me feel. And, my happy place is being right beside her. I mean, when people talk about Bryant, man, they talk Barbara. It's almost like my name is Bryant and Barbara. you know what I'm saying? So, we are attached at the hip, and, I wouldn't want to be any place except with her. That's my happy place. That's an easy question. That was a layup right there.
Layup. Brian, I know, like you said before, you're not a self-promoter, but like, if you had to choose 3 adjectives that describe yourself, which would you choose?
That's a good question. The first one, man, is being, humble. The second one would be hardworking. And the final one would be honest. The 3 H's. And I think that, a lot of people can judge the tree by the fruits that it produces. And you can just look at my family, who I have the most influence on. Then you can look at the works and deeds that I've done, since I've been on this earth. And then, you just let all of that speak for yourself. And so I think that, humility, honesty, and hard working would be the best 3 adjectives that I would use to describe myself.
Great, man. I know, like, you evaluate a lot of stuff. So, like, what qualities do you value in the people with whom you spend time?
Well, I mean, man, look, man, the fruits of the spirit, man. Then that's what I look for, man. Love, joy, peace, patience, happiness, gentleness, goodness, self-control. That's it, man. That's what I look for. I'm not into a lot of drama, man. I don't want drama. I don't want to be around people that's about drama. you know, man, I'm just easy going, man, you know, just like, you know, sailing on, you know, a smooth sea, man. I mean, you know, I just want to have fun. I want to be around people that's fun loving and that's forward thinking, have a vision. It's about building people up and not tearing people down. You know, that's who I like to spend my company with.
Awesome. And then what energizes you and then brings you excitement?
Well, what energizes me, well, first of all, with kids, man, is potential. You know, you can see a kid has a chance to change his life with the talents that he's been blessed with. Now, it's up to me to be able to help draw that talent out of them so that they can recognize it and they can go and change their lives. That excites me. And then when I'm around adults, I like to be around adults who have vision, who don't like to be stuck in the same spot, man, for years, who are forward thinking, not afraid to take risks. You know, I don't know everything in the world, but I've seen a lot. And maybe if I can't help you get to where you want to be, I know somebody that can, and I can connect you people to help you achieve and reach your goal. That's what excites me.
Awesome. Awesome. And you said this earlier, and it's gonna come back to it. I think, you know, because like you talked about it, and I think NBA guys a lot of times this happens to them. So, I mean, there are people in the business that stereotype former NBA players or coaches, and when they take a job in college basketball, like what was or what has been your biggest transition after playing and then coaching in high school? You know, playing in the NBA and coaching in high school to being a college basketball assistant.
Man, man, the stereotypes are real, man. I mean, people think, and it's not everybody, but a lot of people think that all NBA players are spoiled, they're lazy, they're selfish, they're self-centered. Man, you know, that drives me nuts because of the few people that you may see acting a fool on TV, then we are all grouped and lumped into the same, you know, pot. That's far from the case. There are so many bright and intelligent young men, man, who suit up to play professional sports, and they have so much more to give the world than just by running a touchdown or shooting a jump shot or dribbling a basketball or throwing a fastball or hitting a home run. And once people get to see that, then you have a chance to just open up your eyes and be like, oh, okay, it's more to this person. It's more, this person has more substance than what I've just seen on TV or read in the newspaper. I mean, man, just look at the social climate that we are in today, man. There are so many athletes that are stepping up, man, to help create change in this country. And it's just so refreshing to see.
Great stuff, man. And I was fortunate to work with this is 2 in 6 years, you and Speedy Claxton, man, like two great guys. Like, not forget the pro basketball. Both guys who played in the NBA for 10 years, and like you couldn't ask for better people. Like that's the number one thing. Like two people that was just great. And I appreciate that. And I said the same thing to Speedy when he was on the show, like just working with you two guys. I mean, it opened my eyes. I mean, I don't stereotype anyway, but it just proved to me that a lot of people are wrong in this profession. So, and this is kind of, we end we ended here. We're in the show here, and I always like to ask this question: like, knowing what you know now, 7 years later, like, what would you tell your younger self to prepare for an assistant coach, or to prepare for as an assistant coach?
Well, I mean, there are so many things that I wish I could do over. First, just starting with my perspective. Man, I love coaching. And sometimes I was like, man, should I have done this sooner? Should I have made this move sooner? Because the reason I'm saying that is because I'm about to turn 50 this year. And, you know, the shelf life for me is getting shorter. And as much as I enjoy coaching college basketball, did I shoot myself in the foot by getting into it too late? But having said that, you know, hindsight is always 50-50. I had well-intentioned reasons of why I chose the path that I did. And every time that I look at my kids, it reminds me that my wife and I made the right decision. So I'm kind of torn about the fact that I've gotten started late. Hopefully I can work hard enough to be able to run my own program one day. But again, is it too late? And I hope it's not. I hope that, again, that that opportunity will present itself, sometime in the near future. But that's always in the back of my mind. And if I were able to coach my young self, would I have started my college coaching career a lot sooner than I did?
Good stuff, man. But you know what? You've said it. You've been saying it all over again. Your steps was ordered, and you had a chance to spend a lot of quality time or value time with your family, things that you appreciate. So I know what, and you did. You know what? You said you and Barbara made the best decision for your kids at the time. So you put that ahead. God remembers that all the time. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, man. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Brian, I want to thank you again, man, for being a guest on the show and being unmasked. Is there anything you want to close out with, saying to the viewers?
Man, listen, I really enjoyed this time, man. And Smooth, man, we had 3 great years together. We shared the same office, man. I learned a lot from you, and I love you, your wife, your mom, your family, and I hope you feel the same way about mine, man. And again, being in this business, man, it's more than just basketball. The relationships that you create last a lifetime. And hopefully, man, you found a friend in me for the rest of your life. I certainly have found a friend in you, man. So I appreciate everything that you've done for me. I appreciate, man, the path that you're taking. And man, you were always, man, a guy who was forward thinking and always had big plans. So I know that you're going to be successful in whatever you do. So I just wish you the best of luck, man. And man, just keep pushing forward, man. The best is still yet to come for you.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I echo the sentiments. I love the Stith family. Even the Dillho family, Barbara's mom, love her as well. So, but hey, I want to thank you, viewers, for watching another great show. Stay tuned for the next guest as we get them unmasked. See you next time, and stay safe.